During the broadcast yesterday, Coca, there was a mention by the great broadcasters covering the game of how similar it could be if the Red Sox got a runner on in the ninth inning, that there could be a Dave Roberts situation. For those of you who are young, like 50% of you, you don't realize that 21 years ago, well, though there's been so many documentaries about it, maybe you do, but 21 years ago, the Yankees were up 3-0 over the Red Sox, and the Red Sox came back to win the series 4-3. You may say big whoop, and I say, well, it is a very big whoop because the Red Sox went on to win the World Series, but it's a bigger whoop because nobody's ever come back from down 0-3 to win a series in baseball other than the 0-4 Red Sox. That's a big whoop. Having it happen against the Yankees, big. The Yankees were winning Game 4 on their way to a sweep in 2004, and Dave Roberts, yes, the same manager of the Dodgers, that Dave Roberts, was a player on the Red Sox all those one score ago, and he stole a base and started a rally, and they won another game and another game and another game, and yada, 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 yada. That was the American League Championship Series. I am one for building up the moment. I love it. I want to create moments. I want to create memories, and I want to hold those memories dear to me. But a 3-game wild card series is not the league championship series. Sorry, it's just not. That said, last night the Red Sox had a chance to come back and beat the Yankees and sweep the series and move on to play the Blue Jays in the divisional series. But the Yankees bullpen was able to lock it down. A couple of things of note happened during that Yankee-Red Sox game, so you can go on with your day thinking, oh, I can fool people into saying I watched it. 2 players didn't play in Game 1 and got a lot of attention. We talked to you about Jazz Chisholm. We talked to you about Ben Rice, 2 lefties who were not in the Game 1 lineup that are put back in the Game 2 lineup, and they each had a difference-making play in the game. Ben Rice hit a 2-run homer, outstanding. And then Jazz Chisholm made a fantastic defensive play to save a run, which run shouldn't have been saved. We're going to talk about it. And then Jazz scored from first on an Austin Wells. Basically, it was a duck. That's what happens in baseball. You find the right place for a ball to land, 2 outs, runner moving, and Jazz is fast. He scores what turned out to be the winning run. I have wanted to fire third base coaches so many times. Anytime a runner gets thrown out at home, I'm angry. Anytime a runner doesn't score because they're not sent by the third base coach, I'm angry. Anytime a player is rounding second and not looking up to their third base coach, their head is down, watching their feet run, I'm angry. You are taught to run with your head up. You don't need to look at your shoelaces. You need to be looking at your coach. You need to be looking to find the ball. There's a lot going on when you're running the bases. None of it includes making sure you're not stepping on an oil slick. Trust me, I would say to the players, we've got a great grounds crew. You don't need to worry about divots, sprained ankles. You may sprain your ankle on a bag if you hit it wrong, but you're not going to step into a sprinkler hole. I promise. It's not slippery anywhere. At 57 years old, I'll tell you now, I look at my feet when I walk. I want to make sure I'm not stepping in any dog crap in New York. It's too bad that you can't walk in New York City looking up. There's so many beautiful things to look at. But no, I'm looking at my shoes. One step in front of me, making sure that those people with dogs who don't curb them don't ruin my shoes and force me to throw them away and live with some stench that somehow God is giving me. The only smell I have is crap. Seems to figure. I would have figured maybe that's how my luck is going. Maybe that was a sign. But the Red Sox did not score on the play. The third base coach thought on Jazz Chisholm diving to keep a ball in the infield and stupidly throwing the ball to first base, bouncing it to Ben Rice, who can't make the pick, who stupidly tried to pick the ball and instead couldn't pick it. The ball gets by him, but not that far. And the runner on third in a tie game doesn't score. Should have scored. Didn't score. The reason I've tried and thought about firing coaches and have done it is that we all all Red Sox fans are playing this game, and all fans of every sport play the game. It's the game of blame. It's a terrible game. Trust me, I've been thinking about the game of blame a lot recently. I'm not sure it does any good, but it is impossible to avoid. I have tried over the last almost 3 weeks to avoid playing the blame game. Can't do it. Can't do it. So did third base coach of Boston. He's not going to get fired, especially during the series. And even better, Alex Cora is going to mention post-game, hey, Nate Eaton, that was the runner. Nate Eaton could not have scored. Alex Cora said, like, specifically, that's their opinion, you know. I think it's easy to say that he could have scored. You know, they're not down there with us. Well, I got to tell you, that is, have you ever been in a situation where you know you're wrong and the way you try to convince the person you're talking to that you're right is by somehow talking about the difference? I've done this, like with Jeff Passan or with Scott Boras during conversations. Not that I've ever had a conversation with Jeff Passan, which I've never met the guy, but where you're talking about it and to a third party you say, hey, that person's never run a team, I have. So I do it. We all do it. We give ourselves credibility for being in a position to have a different set of knowledge than the person who's giving the other opinion that we don't agree with. If you go about your day today and think about it in those terms, count the number of times that you give an opinion about something and you believe you're right because it's your perspective that the other person doesn't have, thereby making your opinion more likely to be right. It is as human can be. As I think about the problem with that logic, I realize that we all traffic in this confirmation bias in order to convince ourselves that our thought process, that our reasoning capabilities are superior to others, because otherwise you would spend your life saying, oh, you're right, let's do it that way. And that's a total ego crusher when all you do is you subjugate yourself to what you perceive to be the whims of everybody, when in fact, maybe they're right. But in this case, Alex Cora was wrong. With 2 outs, tie game, chance to win, I'd rather make the defense make a play. Make Ben Rice get the ball, collect the ball, and throw to the plate to get Eaton out trying to score from second. Because if he scores, you're up 4-3, and you don't worry about a run scoring the following half inning, so you're down 4-3. That would just be my view.